Okay, so when yesterday we how gets triggered, okay, how the flow is controlled once it enters into the component. Yesterday we saw the flow till it enters the component, right? So to control the flow of execution, SAP has created a predefined set of methods in each and every controller. These methods are called as hookup methods. Okay, so it is to control the flow of the application. Okay, like this is what happen after this step. Okay, so this application, this hookup methods are called predefined point of time by the SAP, by the WD tool. Okay, we will not be able to monitor the way that this method gets called. We will not be able to prevent this method from calling, or we will not be able to trigger this method. Okay, this method can be called only by the web framework. I have placed a breakpoint on all the methods so that we can better understand how the flow of the application is getting triggered. Now I am triggering the application. Okay, now this is the point I am triggering the application. Now I yesterday mentioned that how it is getting directed to the component controller. So when the component controller is being triggered, it will first call the domain it method of the component controller. Okay, I'll just get call. Okay, what happened? Okay, so now my application is triggered. When it triggers, it identifies the component and it triggers the component controller. When the component controller is being triggered, first method which you see triggered was do it method of the component controller. Okay. I will explain you the significance of each and every method later. Now we just go through the flow. So, so what will happen here is in the doing method. Suppose if you wanted to initialize something within your component controller, before the application is being displayed, then you can do it in your do init method. Okay. Then when I click on effect, if you see the do init method of the view controller has been triggered. Okay, actually this is the method of the window controller. Okay. Once the component controller initializes itself, then it will instantiate the window controller first. While instantiating, we are calling the doing method of window controller. We to call doing method of the view controller. Which okay, actually the common control did not stop in doing it method. Okay, I will just go and check the breakpoint. Yes, component controller doing it method. Then the method, then Windows controller of the view controller. View controller. Yes, that is the sequence. View controller. Okay, I mentioned you right yesterday. First the component controller will load, then the component controller will see the interface view and decide which window to load. Once the window is loaded, then the window will have the information of which is the default view it has to load. Then it will instantiate that particular view. The view controller it did not stop. Lost all the breakpoints. So I will explain you what will happen first. Okay. The first thing that we trigger will be the do it method of the component. Now you see here, do it method. Yes. That's what you want. 40 parameters, something like that. What it is. Controller in which we are. Okay. Then, so when I am the power controller, you can also see it from here. Okay. So I showed you right when component controller was created, if underscore component controller and interface was created. Please remember, I showed you yesterday program. Whenever I declare something that will be loaded here. So that is what actually I am loading here. So this WT underscore this refers to the controller which you have. Okay. In object oriented term, starts from 2. Okay. The number of objects you are creating starts from 2. We have entered into the component. Okay. But if you see here, because this already 100 objects has been instantiated. So SAP does a lot of things internally. Okay. So before we are coming into our actual web application itself, the framework itself will occupy most of the memory. On top of that, if you are reduced, memory will be increased and the performance will be reduced. Okay. Instance is for storing the attributes. Whatever the attributes that the class has, store the value for the particular attribute. System will allocate the memory and it will create a handle for that. So in object oriented terms, whenever you create the instance for the first time, the number is 0 is to 2. So that is how the instance number will begin. If you create one more object, we name as 0 is to 4. Now we can enter into our memory. We are still in our doing it method of the component controller itself. But my component controller is created as a 122nd object. Yeah, internally by the framework. It was also by the framework internally. So coming from 122. Okay. Now already there are creating number of instances. So each and every controller will create each and every context node element. So here 300, 400, 600, something like that. We are increasing the memory. So the page size get increased. That is why SAP is here only context temporary storage of data. So that was the okay. We will not be able to make any impact on this. We will not be able to do anything on the framework. Okay. What we can try to do is yeah. What we can try to do is instead of creating new and new. We don't have to put anything on top of this to load the program furthermore complex. Which was triggered was the doing method of the controller. Okay. Then after that, hand default method was created. I will show you this method. Okay. This method is nothing but yesterday I showed you that right start default. So it is the given handle method for the starter method. So I thought that only it comes from the starter flag. So in the controller this instruction entering through the starter flag. Okay. So once it enters through the starter flag, then it is the view it has to load. It comes to the do before navigation. Okay, I got it now. See what is happening now. using the same user ID. Okay. So what will happen? It will be similar to them. Okay, that is the reason why it was not. Okay, you can try it in your system. It will straight away come to the do init method of the. Okay. So what will happen? It will come to the do init method of the view controller. Okay. So once in the do init method of the view controller, if you want to initialize something particular to that particular view, you can do it. Okay. These do init methods are basically make a constructor. You say remember I have told you what is a class. So assume every controller has a class. Okay. So every controller has a class. Okay. Every controller has a class. I told you like the difference private, protected, and public. So assume that whenever a class is being instantiated, the first method that is that will be the only time that method is not able to any controller is being instantiated at that particular time, the doing method okay, that will be the only time it gets triggered. Again, the format. When you go to application, recall the application, then only it gets called. Okay. So what happened? Doing method is being called. So once doing method is being triggered, then what will happen? For the don't modify view. Yeah. Don't modify view method will get triggered each and every time before displaying the web page. Okay. So this is the first time I am going to display the output. It will anyway be called before displaying the output text to the browser. Then do modify view method will be called. Preview. Okay. Now the screen is getting displayed. We have preview events triggered, right? Similarly, before the web page is being rendered, we here we say it is a render because so if I have done any modification in my directly to the program, so before displaying it, I have to change it, right? That's why we have this do modify view. Yes. Yes, you can use it. Yes. Okay. So this method will have a property called first time. Have a property called this method called first time. Okay. So it will be X for the first time. After that, it will not be X. That will be executed only once. That will be executed on every call. Yes. Getting clear for the first time, you have after that, that will not be X. So that's how you differentiate before modify view is called. That my view is ready to be rendered, which means whatever I have in the table is ready to be page. Excuse me. Okay, it is going to be displayed as a web page. Now, yes. Okay, once the configuration is done, then this page is ready to be rendered. Now it is up to the component controller. Okay. Now here the component controller takes the do before navigation method. Method is suppose this happen, I can also stop it here and I can change it. Okay. Now, okay. So do before navigation method will get triggered. Do post will get triggered. Okay. If you see the name of the method, it is a called prepare output. Post processing method is done. Page. Get executed. Everything before. Okay. So it is being displayed. Okay. So this is how the sequence works. So first method of the component controller, then the plug handle, getting displayed for the first time, we can do it. The navigation, then do post processing. In case of any error in the navigation, you can stop it in the post processing. Okay. Basically, we won't be using these two methods. Okay. The process of rendering will happen. Page. So gets executed right now. Display. Okay. Now where I am within my view controller. This is the view controller which is getting display. Now the controller will be going to the view controller. View controller. Going to view controller. Navigation. Okay. Before what it will do is it will directly go to the view controller. The view controller first call the do before action method. So we have hookup method called do before action. So I have triggered an action. User has triggered an action. Okay. Before processing the actual user action, there is a hookup method which get executed called do before action. Okay. Yes. Yes, this method is mainly for validating the user. Okay. User input. I want to validate whether the data is execute user action. So when I don't trigger any error messages here, then the actual event handler method will be called for a particular user action. Actual event handler will be called. Okay. Then after that, what happens is do after action. Okay. So we have this method will get called. After that, user action is completed. Now, here I can decide whether to stop the process or I can. Okay. So once this flow action is done, then so I change again. So what will happen? As usual, no before navigation method will get called first time. So navigation will be called for the first time. Here the system will decide whether I am going to display the same view or I am going to display some other view in place of this view. So navigation method knows that. If it is the same view, then call the do modification and then do modify. Modify. Getting my point. After my action. Okay. Do after action is completed. Now, my next step would be to render the web page again. Now, what will happen? The component will go to the do before navigation of the component. Here, the component will same view again or it has to display some other view. I may have performed navigation operation, right? So the navigation has been there, the plus has been there, then the component of the component is okay. If it is going, if it is going to go to the same view, then the two part view of the same view will get called. If the view is instantiated already, it has been called already, or if the person is going to the view. If the person is going to the view, then the person is going to the view, then the person suppose if the page which you are going to is already called, then the doing method will not be called. You got my point. So these three methods are like PPO, these two methods are PAI. Sorry, these three methods are PAI. Three methods get triggered only after the user action. Either it be do before action or actual event handler method or after action. So these three methods, then after the action, then our action is being triggered. This is the process that continues. Okay. Only thing is that if I navigate from one view to another, instead of calling the command to modify view, it will call the do not view where you are going to. That makes sense, right? I want to change where I am going to. I'm going to change where I am going to. So this is the process. Now see what are the remaining four methods. Similarly, this when as the method is called at the time of instantiation of this controller, this method will be called at the time of destructing the controller. Okay. You know you are familiar with the term like constructor destructor. Constructor destructor in object-oriented programming. You know that in ABAP object orientation concept you do not have constructor. But in other programming languages we have a concept of constructor and destructor. So constructor method will get called when we are instantiating the object. Destructor method will get called when we are deleting the object. As some specified as the product correct it and destroy it. Okay. Similarly, when I no longer needed this application, the do exit method will call. This application state changing method. Yesterday I explained you an example, right? In the portal I was done one application, the link to another application. Then I have this state change property. Okay, using the state change property, I will set the plugs. Yesterday we saw right resume plug and suspend plug. Okay, now whenever I am going away from the application, my suspend plug will be triggered. That is an suspend. Whenever I am coming back in, that is an will be resume. Okay, second by the system. The values. Suppose when it is going at that point of time, if you wanted to save some data, then you can identify the plus and you can save it. Okay, this is coming as importing parameter, this information, whether it is a suspend or it is a expansion. The state change parameter will tell you that. Okay, by getting to know that you can do it. Most probably this particular hookup methods you will not use. Controller we saw what is do init for, what is do modify view for, get executed before the actual event handler method. Say for example, I have clicked on display button. On action display is the event handler method that I have associated with the display button. So this is getting called do before action will be called. Then on action display will be called. After that do after action will be called. These three are considered to be a PI event. Once this is done, again the QPO event will be called. Okay. Similarly, for this controller also we have the destructor method doing. Okay. Then we have this WB on context menu. This this is a normal web page. Okay. If I right click on here, I have the program reload, save as, print, translate English. These are products that are browser. Okay. We did not want these options to be enabled. Okay. We disabled this already. If you right click here on the web application page, you get only the context menu that are provided by the SAP. You will not get the context. Okay. Why? Because if I go here and I click on view page source, I will get the HTML code of the web page which has been created. Then what hackers can do is he can edit this HTML page, he can insert few lines of code, scripting codes, then he can refigure the process and he can try to design the feature and we only provide the feature provided by the SAP for the program. If you want to enhance some channel screen, you don't know which screen you want, then you can try it and you can get the so that is how we are securing our. Suppose if a user claims that he wanted some additional option in the right click, he wanted some option. Then for that particular view, here you can fill what are the values you wanted to add. Okay. Here you have the event and the by filling this you can add additional option. Usually this type of request also will not come. This type of request will come when they are asking if we don't do the personalization at all. What happened here will be after. So whatever the menu I am adding, I will This is the idea of method help perform the action there. Now we will go to the video controller. Default plug. Default plug is always associated with an event handler. Default plug used to transfer again. If you see here, associated to an event handler. Plug is being triggered. This is the path through which the this controller. So that I can perform the those type of things you can do it together. It gets executed. So what you do, you just keep a breakpoint now. Now I will explain you why should I perform the validation only do before action. Event handler method itself. What does that mean? Yes, two different ways. Okay. And so component framework different architecture. Our server client, which is our browser. These are just imagination that you have to assume. Okay. Now this made from the browser comes to the WPF framework. Okay. So the WPF framework, it will call this hookup methods to before action. Okay. Now it will validate until the data is okay. Give a corresponding event handler method which will be done on the server. If it is not valid here, data enter itself from here to the client. Okay. The power of that communication between the client to server is called. Okay. So once the server is being triggered, then it has to read under the page again, once again. Okay. If the server is not triggered, it is sufficient for me that I render only part of the page. That is how the framework was designed. If you are validating here, you are validating here in the before action method itself. What will happen? You have control from the browser to the you hit, here if you validate it, and even if you the error response back to the browser, is it a performance? I do not want it to be triggered. If it is triggered, my whole page has to be rendered again. Price tag, they call it as a price tag. Table tag. Takes to render a label. How much time it takes to render a thing. If it has done some calculation and it has calculated some amount of, if I come back right away from here, then it is sufficient to render my message area alone. The message. Okay. But when I hit the server, I don't render the whole page complete. It reduces my performance. I can actually calculate it in the actual event handler. Do it only within the make this performance. Here itself we can validate the data and then you should never write select statement within the brain drawback comma. So I will explain that to you why in the application. I will be directly writing the select statements within the web application. Okay. But that is not the right approach to do it. Okay, I will explain you why in the latter part. This we complete the concept of hookup method. Teach you the face model. Yes, I am going to explain it. It is a face model. We call it as PHASEMAMODEL. You can see the same right. When you yesterday that my context serves as the in the right. When your process right. So I have the enter the value. I told you find it to the value attribute of the input. If you remember I have my application from the okay. So whenever I create a HTML page, so I will be finding the value property of the I can retrieve it from that, right? Value, nothing will be that itself. Some kind of cache memory. Then when I perform some action, what will happen? The respect on this input field will be happening browser end itself. In the browser itself, we haven't kept our app server here. Okay. So this fact valid proper value or invalid value. It doesn't make any sense to me. Okay. So what I will do after this is done, I have entered in the input field will be assigned which I have assigned for the particular input field will be stored in the corresponding contact. Okay. Now, given action, it is a PI event, right? What happens? My PI event should be triggered. Do before action. Okay. So in the do before action, I will be asking the errors. If I am okay with that, then I will call the action. Okay. Errors can be triggered, right? Not just the if suppose if I provide invalid combinations of disorder, then it is an error, right? Suppose error, I will be having it. Getting executed, do before action method will be called. So second will be triggered. In the people loop cycle is application. So application method will get called. Here I will determine whether I have to perform the navigation or not. Okay. If I am going to perform the navigation, then I perform the navigation and then I go to the go on to the do modify view. Post processing is the final method where I will prevent from further execution. Okay. Then I am performing the schema page. So is showing the error message if it is there. If it is the error message also the same person. So no, we are supposed to do it here only. Explain you. Get a purchase order. Get one custom table. I want to get a custom table. Okay. Now, before I am setting the same in the custom table, I want to block the custom table so that I can prevent from after the table. Then I can update the logic there. Then I error might get triggered. I may not be able to log the table. Then I have to do the error right. So, that error. So that type of errors can trigger in the processing time. That error anyway can do only within the event and the business validations. Okay. So you understood it. Okay, suppose if the error message is being triggered, which means I have to be error learn for me. So I will directly go on to this. Okay. I will send you the link to this documentation. So, what is best model and not? Okay. So finish with this for today. Okay. Tomorrow I will explain you the concept of context node in detail.